Hey, and welcome back to the shop. We're here today to bring you another social media Q&A with my lovely husband Paul Shin, the Model A guy, and I'm Tina. He calls me Model T. You're welcome to too. So today I'm going to try to go as fast as I can because we've got like 54 questions, 55 questions. It's a lot of questions. Yeah, so we're going to try to get through them. He doesn't know any of them. We have got Pa T.
Hi, Paul. How's it going?
He says, wow, what's the driveline status for this Ford? Just from the one video that I made with the 30 that's on the side of the property in pieces.
Oh, the drivetrain on that? The chassis and everything's done. So it's a complete running chassis with the Mitchell Overdrive, brand new brakes with the bonded brake shoes, and it has the cast iron drums, and it runs, it drives, does everything. It's just waiting for the body to be finished. The interior's done.
Have we heard anything about anybody willing to sandblast it?
Nothing.
Oh, Lord.
Nope.
Okay, well, hopefully eventually we'll get back to that poor body.
Yep. Oh.
It looks like it's going to be a cool vehicle. Wade Dog.
Hi, Wade.
He says he's talking about safety tubes for Model A wheels. What are they exactly made of, and what makes them so safe? Does someone still make them?
Yeah, their safety tubes are just thicker rubber, virgin rubber usually, not that recycled stuff. We have some tubes outside here sitting on the white car right now that were just garbage. They're brand new tubes, and a member of our club installed them in his car, and he had maybe 20, 30 miles on it, and like literally one of the valve stems just popped right off.
Oh my God.
It's like he had a blowout.
But
sucks. It wasn't that the tube blew or anything. Literally the valve stem just flew right out of the tube. They're just junk. So when he's talking about safety tubes, those are those ones that are made out of the virgin first use rubber, not recycled. They're not plasticky feeling. They're real rubber, and they're thicker than normal. There's a set on the car that's over in building 5 right now. And gosh, we got what's like 17,000 something miles on those tubes, and I've never had to add air to those tires. I aired them up when I first put those tubes and tires on, and just like your modern car, it's never lost any air. I check it all the time. You saw me check them the other day before we drove to Columbia, and
where can you get a pair?
Still exactly where I set them. I think Bratton's sells those. I think it's Bratton's.
Bratton's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. I can't remember.
I know we always have some go-tos, but...
Yeah, we have our standard go-tos, but I think Bratton's is the one who does those.
So, Wade Dog, if you check Bratton's and they don't have them, get a hold of me, and Paul will check out and make sure of the correct one. Could be Bert's,
I can't remember.
We shop at a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Well, Hal...
Hi, Hal.
Hey, Hal. He says, along with other things, he says, I've heard Paul say that chassis has to be lubed on a Model A every 500 miles. I can understand this if a Model A is a driver or is driven very seldom, like once a year or once a month or even once a week. But what about if somebody is driving across country? It says, what if you're driving a 700 mile or 14,000 or 25,000 mile trip? That's a long way. He's going to drive to Mars. Okay. Do you have us to stop every 500 miles and lube the chassis?
No. Okay, so people debate this all the time. 500 miles is a maintenance interval, and it's not cast in stone. And it's from the Ford owner's manual that came with every Model A, and it tells you to lube the chassis every 500 miles, lube the distributor, on and on. That's not a hard, fast rule. And then there's some people on one side of the argument that say, well, the roads are so much smoother, the chassis isn't doing so much work, you can extend the interval. Look, here's the thing. Most Model A's that you see that are worn out, they never lube the chassis. And they probably went 50,000 miles without lubing the chassis. So do you have to lube the chassis every 500 miles? No, you do not. Does my cars that get driven a lot, like that one, get lubed every 500 miles? No, it does not. It gets lubed whenever I think about it. We might have to pause while Tina cleans up a mess now.
Clean up my coffee.
Your coffee in a can.
My coffee just had a
Well, go ahead.
Get yourself.
I'll continue. So what happens is anytime the parts on the Model A chassis are moving about, and that could include when your car's on a trailer, by the way, because the chassis is moving about when you're on a trailer, those parts are wearing, like knuckles and things in the front end, stuff like that. Those are wearing. You just want to have some lubrication in there. Now, Does it have to be every 500 miles? Like at 501 miles, is the lubrication completely gone? No, absolutely not. It just becomes less and less and less effective as it wears out of the ball joint or wherever it happens to be in. And the grease itself tends to pick up more contaminants and dirt and become less of a lubricant and more of an abrasive. And I work in radio. I can do this all day, so take your time. So what happens? So it doesn't necessarily mean at 500 miles you're now causing damage to the car every mile you drive past that. What it means is at every 500 miles, that is the maintenance interval, you at least check it. I think the furthest I've gone in between lube jobs, I think was like 2,500 miles. I forget what trip that was. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if you start hearing squeaks though, you've gone way too long. Okay. Perfect time.
Well, sorry about that. I'm going to have to set my coffee elsewhere so that I don't do that again.
Why you did that, yeah. Okay.
I need a little table. That's what I need.
Well, there's one right there, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll just
whatever.
won't drink anything while I'm sitting here because I'm a mess.
She can't drink and drive either.
I can't.
She holds her coffee way up here like this while she's driving, so I guess so all the other drivers can see.
Oh, I have a coffee. Okay, Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hey. Oh, let's see. He says the 2 Wishbone balls in the transmission need replacing. If I remove
I know this question.
You do?
Yes, I remember Billy asking this.
Okay.
And he's talking about the bolts inside the flywheel housing that go down where the wishbone ball comes up into in that socket underneath the flywheel housing. Okay. He wants to change the bolts without having to take the flywheel housing apart. And the answer is no. There's no shortcuts. You have to take the flywheel housing off. You don't necessarily have to remove the flywheel and all that stuff.
He doesn't have to move the transmission?
Yeah.
Oh, he has to?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, no.
Because he's saying
you can do it without removing the transmission.
He says he heard that you can attach fishing line to the old one and pull the new bolts in.
What web forum did you hear that on?
I don't know.
Okay, if you pull the engine, if you pull the engine, you don't have to pull the transmission out. You could leave the transmission, rear end, all that in. Just pull the motor, and then there it is right there. Or you could pull the rear end, pull the transmission, pull the flywheel housing. There it is right there. So either way.
Got a Model A. I got a big one. It's right there. Okay.
I live with her. Yeah.
And
she's
that's
like
a
this
pure joy.
all the time.
It's Comedy Central.
It's like living with a cartoon.
Yeah. Okay, Philip. Hi.
Hi, Philip.
He says he has a 1929 Phaeton with a very noisy transmission. First is bad, second is really loud, and third is fine. Took cover off and see a little pitting. A new friend and mentor commented the amount of pitting would not make much noise and believes it is rear roller bearing. YouTube video claim pitting will make loud noise. Help, I don't know where to step next.
Rear roller bearing would make noise in third too.
Yeah.
So, where are these flies coming from?
They're aggressive. Holy mackerels.
Okay, okay, the transmission in the Model A does make noise, but he says he has a mentor, so I'm assuming it's somebody who already knows Model A's, listened to it, and told them the pitting wouldn't make noise. Pitting doesn't really make noise. What makes noise is the gear teeth meshing and unmeshing, and since they're straight cut gears, it's kind of like how an air raid siren works. So you've got a chopper motor. You've got a chopper motor, and it's allowing air to pass through a hole, cutting it off, pass through, cut it off. You do that at a really high rate of speed, and then you force air through there. That's how a siren works. A gearbox works almost exactly the same way. That's why first and second gear whine. Third gear doesn't make noise because it's just straight through. It connects the input shaft to the output shaft directly. There's no gearing going on. It's just a straight through. So if he has excessive transmission noise, it could be gears. Now, if his cluster gear has a problem, that'll make a lot of noise. But chances are, I mean, if you think the noise is really excessive and you want to change the transmission or rebuild the transmission and change the gears, that's fine. But to be honest, unless the noise is a bearing coming apart, it's just noise. So get in it and drive it.
Is it kind of like when we lived on the boat and the guy said, "How do I stop
Yeah,
that
it's the
slap
same
slap
thing.
noise on the side of the boat?"
Yeah. How do you get rid of that slap
You
slap?
put
The
it on
water
a
slapping.
trailer.
How do you get rid of the noise of the water slapping the boat when you're trying to sleep? And I said, put it on a trailer. He did not like me after that. So that's really the thing. It's just noise. If you don't want to live with it, change it. If you don't care, run it. At some point, if it's bearing, it'll splatter, and then you'll know what it is.
Oh
But if
my.
it's not popping out of gear or anything like that, just drive it. Get some earplugs.
All right, hi Dorinda. So she is saying he or she, sometimes the husband and wives are sharing accounts here, but it says, first off, big thanks to you for showing my son how to start a 31 Model A.
Oh,
We got
good.
him one for his birthday last year. He's only 13, that lucky guy. Willie!
What?
He's got like
What?
best parents ever year award.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Says it's a pretty good working condition. We have discovered we need to replace the radiator. Can you suggest a place to get one and do a video on how to replace it? Mom and son project. Yeah.
Nice.
This mom rules.
Oh, yeah. I really want to go out for people like that and
Yeah.
do whatever we can. Radiator is one of those things. They're really expensive. There's a few places that still sell repro radiators. You don't get the real ones that look like this is an original, but the ones with the 6 fins and all, you can't really get those, I think. And the cooling is so-so on those. So our radiators in all our cars, the ones that we drive, not the show cars, but the driver cars, I have the radiators record. So you can go to just about any radiator shop, take your original Model A radiator in, and they will reuse the upper and lower tanks and the stuff on the sides and what have you, and then they change the core. And if you're getting a modern core, you definitely want a 4-core radiator. Do not skimp. Get a 4-core radiator, at least 8 fins per inch, which is how many fins there are in 1 inch. 8 to 10. Now, most of our driver cars, 10 fins per inch, 4-core radiator. It will not overheat no matter what. I mean, when we drove to Reno that trip and it was 108 degrees or whatever, and we're pulling those hills, 2-door never even got close to overheating. It got maybe up to 160. That was it. So that is the secret. You don't have to go with a pressurized radiator or any of that stuff, but it does have to have really good flow. And if you want, get a hold of us and I'll give you my radiator guy, and you could always send it to him. And he has done 50 or 60 radiators for us. He knows Model A radiators real well.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
he'll
will
fix you
say,
up.
after I get done polishing this green beast here and whatnot that I'm going to do to it, I know eventually I do want to have a little video on how to replace.
Well, this radiator's got to
take-
come out.
Yeah, but I mean, I do want to take the radiator fluid out, do the
yeah.
fluids, blah, 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 do all that. Somebody else had been asking about that, so I'll be doing that part. But you do need to take the radiator
We'll probably be
out,
pulling this radiator. Yeah, because I want to have this boiled out.
Yeah.
Just because it's had so much crud and grease and stuff in it.
You'll be able to
I don't
make
think
a
it's
video
going
on
to
that
flush.
then.
Well, I plan to, but
Woohoo.
I have lots of plans.
I know there's tons of
We
plans, too
never
many.
get to any of it.
All right, let's get on to Mike.
Hi, Mike.
He says he needs a secret on door latch removal. Removed outer handles. Yeah, handle screws in latch. Raised window, can't pop the latch.
Is it a 4-door or is it like a 2-door coupe?
Ooh, he didn't
pickup?
say.
Man,
man.
they're different.
Bummer.
See, the 4-door latches are different because the lock's not part of the thing on the passenger side. The driver's side's an emulation of the passenger side. It's a different setup. Once you pull the handle, you take the screws out. You have the door panel off. You have to, I think, unless it's a 2-door pickup. I don't know. More detail. I need more,
Okay.
more
well,
info.
Mike, we need more details. Is it
Get
a
a
front,
hold of us.
front door, back door, 2-door, 4-door? You know, what is it?
Well, 4-door front and back
Guess.
doors are the same.
I'm just making up junk
They're
now,
the
but,
same pain in the neck.
But you know what I mean.
And the slant window's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We got Rodney here.
Hi, Rodney.
Hi, Rodney. Let's see. He says, I'm not sure how true the fingers on a pressure plate should run, but you can use a mag base with a digital, not a digital, I'm making up words now. You can You can use a mag base with a dial indicator
Yes.
and a button on the end.
Yeah.
As long as your surface is flat, put the button on your finger first. Is he telling me something, or is he
He's
asking
telling
a
you.
question?
He probably saw the video I did where I adjusted the fingers on the pressure plate.
Okay. Because I hate to read the whole entire thing if he's not
is a
asking
book,
the
isn't it?
question and he's just saying something.
Well, there's lots of ways of doing it. I
own.
even say in the video, I mean, you want the pressure plate fingers to be within a few thousandths of an inch. I'd say 5 thousandths.
I found the question.
You found the question?
Yeah,
Oh.
he was giving us stuff, which is nice, good stuff. You guys can read it on your own, but I just want to get to the question for this part of things anyways. It says, do you think or know if one Model A supplier has a better harness than another?
Wiring harness?
It looks like maybe.
Yes. Used to be Sacramento Vintage Ford made all the wiring harnesses that everybody sold, but now there's a few different ones. So here I'm going to go against my friend. But you know what? The truth is, I love the ones that Bratton sells. Especially if you're adding turn signals, because the turn signal harness, everything is all integrated. It's in loom. It looks really pretty. They're really well done, and everything just plugs together with those bullet connectors, and everything comes out perfect. In fact, I'm going to put a wiring harness in that one. I ordered a harness from Snyder's because I was placing an order there anyway, and they had the harness that almost everybody else sells, and I was like, oh, crud. But Snyder's was super cool about it. They're like, oh, we'll take it back. No big deal. I was like, oh, well, thanks. Okay. So I sent it back, and they refunded the money. And then I bought the one from Bratton's, and it's, of course, perfect. And so that's what's going in that car.
Cliff. Hey, Cliff.
Hi, Cliff.
Let's see. He is saying, in your video on how to start a Model A, there is a good interior view of the firewall of your sports coupe. I noticed you have a ABS insulated firewall cover installed. I just bought one of these to install on my late 31 identified firewall Model A, and I've realized the fuel line hard installed on my tank goes right through the middle of the firewall.
Oh, he has
cover.
a late 31.
Oh, okay. So he says, I'm beginning to think I will have to remove the gas tank to be able to install the firewall cover. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, unless you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of the insulation. So that doesn't go up totally behind the tank. It only comes up a little bit past where the fuel line runs through the firewall. So just cut yourself a slot there and just kind of slide it up under there. Otherwise, yeah, you have to pull the tank on a late 31.
Okay. All right, Bill, you're next.
Hi, Bill.
Where did you get that nifty wrench to turn the motor over for TDC?
Oh, we're Top Dead Center. You just get one and bend it and make it. I can give you the dimensions. In fact, it's in the video I did on how to set the timing on a Ford Model A. I put a slide up on the screen that shows the dimensions. And
Oh, that was the one that you had made yourself?
yeah, it's garbage. It was just a garbage wrench. The end of it was stripped, but the closed the end, the open end was stripped. The closed end was still fine, so just took a vise and a torch and just started bending it. And then it was so ugly, I spray painted it afterward, just so it wasn't so ugly.
See, you got to start making them and say, no.
No, somebody sells them now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't remember who.
I figure.
But if you watch that video, I think I say who.
Oh, okay. Well,
think.
hopefully.
I don't remember.
I'll find the video and I'll put it up there somewhere.
You want me to get it and show it?
Put it in the description.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll put a picture in there somewhere in here.
Perfect.
On the side, too, to show them
Over
what
here?
it looked like. Maybe. There, here, wherever it works.
We'll put it up here.
Wherever we got room.
There's room over here, so just put it right here.
Okay. So, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
He says he's asking a favor. So this is all about
Asking a favor on the day my daughter is to be wed.
He says he's talking about a Hemmings auction that they were having, and he liked it at Model A, and he's one of the top bidders, so on and so forth.
Okay.
And he wanted your expertise on whether or not he darn fly. He wanted to know your tips on whether you thought anything was wrong with it and whether he should definitely continue. And so we've addressed this before.
That's a can
and
of
although
worms.
it's nice because, I mean, it's nice that people want your help and they trust you and it's awesome. But at the same time,
I can't.
he can't.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's too much liability in that.
Plus,
Here's the
you
thing.
can't see it up close.
Yeah. So there's nothing, looking at the exact same pictures you're looking at, I'm not going to see anything you don't. I mean, it's different now. I have helped someone buy a car in our club because that's a club activity. Club insurance covers that. And it was a car that we went together to look at together. In person, I'm looking for something. They're looking for something. The next person's looking for something. She's looking for something. So we all come together and say, oh, wow, this thing's perfect under the hood. It's perfect underneath. And she'll go, well, the interior has some soft wood in it. And it's like, oh, I never thought of looking at that. So that's where more eyes help. But if looking at pictures like of an auction or something, and people send us all the time. Right now, my email box, I've got at least 200 emails in there that I haven't even read. I can't get to them all. I'm so sorry. But I guarantee you at least a third of them are people saying, hey, here's this Model A for sale. Take a look at it. What's it worth? Or, hey, I'm selling my Model A. I want $20,000 for it. Is that too much? Or is that, I can't do that, and I don't.
Well, that's why I wanted to address this here. Hopefully enough people will see it, and hopefully we'll continue to get the word out that it's just not something.
But see, that's where you need a club.
Yeah, you need a club.
I mean, if you're a member of a club or you know somebody in that area or something, you call. I mean, look in the MAFCA directory, or I'm supposed to call it MAFCA now because of Jay. Sorry, Jay. So you look in the MAFCA. I can't say it. MAFCA directory.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
MAFCA.
I'm going to paw you hard.
Look in the MAFCA directory and look for somebody who lives in that area who's in a club. They probably know the car. They've probably been around the car, or at least been to one of the club seminars where they were working on it, or been on a tour where it broke down or something. Somebody knows something about that car. That's where clubs really come in handy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And besides, I mean, even if you could help people, there's no way you could help every single person that writes into you or comments. Or
I wish I could. I'm only one guy.
I mean, this is where this comes in handy. Is like I try to get them together with me so we can at least ask some of these. Some of these questions for here is like probably from early April. So
is it?
Sorry it takes so long to get back even for that. But busy lives. If we were retired, it might be a little different.
That'd be different.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we need 1 million subscribers or more, and then we could retire. I don't know.
I don't know. With 1 million subscribers, you'd probably do it for a living, and then.
Yeah. Okay. Come on, people, sign up, and then we can retire. And then if it pays enough, and then we can retire. We can just ask questions and answer them all day long. I don't know.
That'd be my full-time job.
Yeah. Anyways, enough of that shenanigans and dreaming. Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
It says, looking for a nice Model A coupe, 2-door sedan. If you know of any of it, if you know of any available? He's like trying to hint. Again, I kind of put those together because it's on the same line. I mean,
I'm willing to sell this thing right now.
Somebody already asked you, but it's already promised to somebody, so we can't do that.
Well, here's the thing. That's again, this a club comes in handy.
Looking on the MAFCA. Am
you
I
did
saying
it
it
too.
right? No, is
According
it
to
MAFCA
Jay,
or MAFCA?
Jay told me to call it MAFCA.
MAFCA. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to remember.
Because apparently Jay drives a Model A. I drive a Model A, so I called it MAFCA, and then he was like, anyway.
Okay.
Out of respect for Jay, so go look on the MAFCA classifieds.
Do you have to say it like that? You look like you're going to heave ho.
I do. So MAFCA.com.
Yeah.
Put it right here.
Okay, I'll put it right there.
Yeah, and
look
then
under classified.
click on classifieds, and then you see Model A's for sale. Hemmings is a good resource. There's lots of online.
And even their Facebook page sometimes. I mean, they've got tons of people on there. Somebody might be trying to sell one there too. Never know. I don't know if they allow that there, but they might.
I don't know.
It could be.
I don't know.
You have to check it out. All right, John.
Hi, John.
He says, quick oil question. I was always taught conventional oil was for cars with no filters. I've been using, you put this big long thing, VR120W50, but I'm thinking of going to a 10W30 or 10W40. Will a full synthetic be okay in a Model A without an oil filter? That's one of his questions.
I mean, if it's clean, if it's a fresh rebuild or whatever, if it's got some sludge in it, and the common thinking. In fact, I did a whole video on this just recently. Which oil should you use in a Ford Model A? Look it up on YouTube.
I'll put that in the link right there too.
There you go. A link in the description below.
In the description below.
So
yes.
the long and short of it is, if the motor's fairly clean, it's never had any sludge buildup or anything in it, you can run whatever you want. Totally doesn't matter. Keep the regular oil change intervals. Clean it when it gets dirty. Don't just keep running dirty oil. Just change it. You're fine. You can run literally anything you want as long as the viscosity is correct. That's what's more important than anything. Don't run too thick of oil because you don't get enough oil into the main bearings, because there's just little round passages from the valve galley, and oil has to drip down those into the bearings. That's how they get lubed. The dippers will pick up almost anything up to about 50 weight. But the main bearings, the center especially, needs like a 30 weight. So 10W30 is a great oil for that. Too thin of oil, you don't get enough of a film on the bearing surfaces. So using like a 20 weight would be too thin, even in the winter. Don't get fooled by winter/summer oils for a Model A. It doesn't care. So watch the video. There's a longer explanation, but the short explanation is yes, assuming the inside of the engine is clean. If not, then I wouldn't.
Alrighty. He also says the service bulletin says valve clearance should be 0.010 to 0.013. Why is everyone, including myself, using a 0.013 and a 0.015?
Well, the actual spec is 11 thousandths for intake and 13 thousandths for exhaust. And I set mine usually at that. Sometimes I don't. I think that one I got a little too loose, and it has a ticking noise. But it's had a ticking noise for like 17,000 miles. So, I don't know. One of these days I might go in there and fix it. I don't know, but probably not.
Duck.
So, if you only have 15 thousandths, just set them a little tight with the 15, and you'll be somewhere between 11 and 13. Are they of real precise science? No. You're not building a Formula One race motor. If they're too loose, you hear ticking noise when it runs up to a certain point. Then it'll cause damage. But I mean,
great.
If you're a few thousandths loose, it'll just make a little noise once in a while. It's no big deal. If you're too tight, you'll cause wear to the cam, unnecessary wear to the cam, but it'll eventually wear in. So you know what? Don't lose any sleep over it. Just get somewhere in that ballpark. 15 thousandths is just a tiny bit too loose, though, as you can tell with that car.
All right, James. Hi, James.
Hi, James.
He says, what do you recommend for really bad rust removal on the body of a Model A? It says rust, but I'm pretty sure he means
Sandblast it.
Sandblast it?
Yeah.
What if you can't find a sandblaster?
Like us?
Yeah, like us. What if he's in that sandblaster boat
that's
like us?
why that 30 four-door body's still sitting right there.
Well, is it something you can do by hand?
Oh, gosh. If you had a lifetime, yes. If you didn't work,
What
you
if
had
it's
nothing
just in
to do.
spots?
Well, just in spots. You could just take a DA and knock it out, I guess.
Yeah, maybe they have a sandblaster near him.
Go to a body
It
shop.
would be nice.
Write a check.
Why can't we do that?
Because we don't have the check.
We have the chicky.
I don't know. I guess I could, but...
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see.
Well, then you don't get any coffee in a can for a while.
Oh, well, darn. Oh, well. All right, David. Hi, David.
Hi.
Tech question. What's the correct way to secure the horn conduit to the Model A horn? And then there's one more, too.
The horn cover that goes on the back that is held on with one screw has a slot in the bottom of it. So it slides on. The conduit, where it goes in, that slides over the top of it, and the little button on the end of the conduit is what keeps it from sliding out of that slot. If the slot's too big, it'll slide out. You need a new cover or fix the cover. And if the conduit doesn't have the little thing on the end that keeps it from sliding out the hole, you probably need to change the conduit. I thought I had one on the wall, but I guess I don't. But anyway, that is the way to do it. So the conduit, you'll probably see the conduit, the two wires come out. If it's not up under the cover, just push it up under the cover and then put the cover back on, and then...
Okay.
You like the hand stuff?
Yeah, good stuff right there.
That's all I got.
No wonder you're good at puppets.
Oh.
Okay, he also says that Mitchell Overdrive. I'm thinking that would save gas on a long haul.
Yeah.
Does it help save gas?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Although
Enough to make a
that car
difference?
without a Mitchell gets the same gas mileage that one does with the Mitchell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Has it been driven the same type of roadage? You haven't taken one on any trips where it was more hilly and all that stuff than the other?
Well, nothing's really the same, but just looking at average fuel economy, it just depends. I mean, some Model A's get great gas mileage, and some. Our two-door sedan never really has gotten good gas mileage. And it's got the better motor, actually. And it just never really got good gas mileage. That car gets superb gas mileage. That gets like 24, 25 miles per gallon. I don't know. I know it does make a little, especially if you're driving at highway speeds, because you wouldn't want to drive a car without an overdrive at highway speeds. That would be kind of bad.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
I missed just a little bit from the top, maybe. I'm not super duper sure, but it says it definitely has an original 31 steel Henry car. He installed a 2.0 Capri Pinto engine. I have the installation manual for the conversion.
Okay.
The car and the driveline is almost stock, or is mostly stock.
With a Pinto motor, that ain't stock.
No?
No.
Huh.
You're pretty far from stock.
He's saying the car and driveline is mostly stock.
The driveline ain't stock either.
No?
No.
Okay. But the car is basically just not the motor and stuff?
The body could be, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It even has the mechanical brakes, enclosed driver shaft rear axle, etc.
Okay.
The throw-out bearing is now making noise when I depress the clutch. Is there any way to maintain the stock bearings, or is it time to pull it and replace it? The Granny is the 3-speed and appears to be stock, as is the bell housing, etc.
I don't know. I mean, he has a one-off modified car and then asking us whether or not he can do something with it after it's been modified. I don't know.
It's modified big time if it's got a whole different kind of engine.
I have no
There's
idea.
no way to really answer that because we don't deal
If it was
with that.
stock, I mean, if you still had the stock engine, tranny, complete drivetrain, I can tell you it's easier to pull the rear end and tranny to change out the clutch than it is to pull the motor. The advantage of that is with the motor still in the car, you can still run it. So after you pull the pressure plate and let's say the flywheel needs to be surfaced or whatever, and you scratch it up there, you can run the motor and just hold the sandpaper on it if you're brave. If I've done that, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And then you can, throw everything together and then run it as a unit to make sure it's not vibrating or whatever before you put the, transmission and everything and the rear end back in the car. I mean, there's advantages of that. But he has a modified car. I don't know. As soon as you change something and you have a one-off, unless it's a modification everybody does, like let's say, people like to add a second taillight to a Model A. So there's two taillights. And then somebody says, hey, I'm not getting voltage there. I can tell you what to do because I've seen that modification 1,000 times. I know, there's a crossover that goes across. Then there's a double thing you plug it into on the driver's side. And it's like, okay, I can figure it.
And a Mitchell Overdrive.
Or
something
Mitchell.
that gets put on Model A's
seen
and blah, blah, blah. But
hundreds.
this is stuff that doesn't happen to Model A's.
No, I don't know what to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Take it to a hot rod shop and they'd probably go, just do this. And then off you go.
I suppose it's possible.
Those hot rod guys are pretty sharp.
Yeah. They deal with so many different things.
Yeah.
We're like one trick show.
I'm a one-trick pony. I don't know.
All right, Scott. Hey,
Hi, Scott.
He needs some help.
Okay.
He put an exclamation mark there.
I'll try.
I have a 29 pickup.
Okay.
Love it. That I have owned for 35 years.
Nice.
I have had off and on warm weather carburetor problems.
Okay.
Recently, it has gotten really bad. When driving in warm or hot weather, when the engine comes down to idle, fuel pours out of the carburetor and floods it. The engine will not idle at all, which makes it very difficult to drive. I have rebuilt the carburetor several times through the years and have checked the float valve, not finding any problems. Installed
Float valve's where I was headed.
Installed a snorkel to get the air out, or the air to get the air intake up into clean air. I also have tried adding diesel into the fuel and ethanol-free fuel. The E-free helps but doesn't solve the problem. Plus,
Right.
plus I want a solution for places where E-free is not available. I built the engine years ago. It runs cool, never overheating. I'm using a motometer, and the red almost never gets halfway. Altitude is 6,000 feet.
Okay, see, where you threw me off was gas pouring out. So if gas wasn't pouring out, eventually, I mean, my go-to then would be, okay, you've got a vacuum leak somewhere. Either in the butterfly of the carb where it goes through, maybe that's loose, or, intake manifold gaskets or the carburetor gasket, something like that. But gas pouring out, it can only be one thing. Clearly, the float is not shutting the gas valve off. So this is very common, especially with the newer float valves. They get any little piece of crud in them, and then they don't seal anymore. And especially when you come to a stop at idle, that thing barely needs any fuel at all. I mean, just a sneeze of fuel is all it needs to keep running at idle. And then if you have gas still pouring into the carb, it has nowhere to go. It's going to come out the jets. It's going to come out the intake, where the air comes into the carburetor, and it's going to go on the ground. That's the only thing that can be causing that, unless the carburetor shell itself is cracked. Which does happen.
Yeah?
That does happen, yeah.
Okay.
You know why we don't run tillets and carburetors? Because they warp. You can be on a tour, you'll start the tour, and that carb runs perfect. By the end of the tour, it doesn't run at all. They can warp that fast.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't trust Tillotsen's. But if it's a Zenith, it could be a cracked carb body, but I doubt it. It's almost certainly that float.
Okay, well, hopefully that helps them and gets them in the right direction. We got George here.
Hi, George here.
Hi, George. If you don't mind him asking,
Not at all, my good man.
what kind of camera setup do you use?
Tina's holding it.
Particularly road tour, particularly on road tours. GoPro?
Nope.
Or something else?
Tina holding an iPhone. That's it.
Just an iPhone.
We don't
Not
do
even a
anything
new
fancy.
one.
No, it's an old.
We're like
I don't know,
still
iPhone
old
6
school
or
on
something.
all of our phones. I'm like super, super behind.
Well,
But
my
yeah.
phone for doing videos is just the same iPhone.
Nerves of steel. I'm like, ugh. We go over a
Not
bump, so
quite
I'm like,
that.
I'm like trying not to move or anything. Lighting.
We bought that gimbal. We bought that fancy with the gyro gimbal and all that.
That thing sucks.
She's better than the gimbal is.
Oh my God,
So-
that thing drove me nuts. I took it on one of your videos, I
Was it?
think, and I was in the back seat recording him driving. And the thing made us look like we were like going around corners going, wee, going around another corner. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could not get it to stay straight or still.
People
It
are
was
always
just
asking,
weird.
what do you guys use for cameras? Thinking we do something fancy.
Yeah, some fancy
iPhone.
hi-fi now.
My iPhone has no SIM card in it, so it doesn't work as a phone. It only is for recording videos. That's it.
Yep, that's
and then I edit the videos right on the phone, upload them to YouTube right off the phone. That's it. Nothing fancy. So if you want to make videos for YouTube, get yourself a junky iPhone, turn it on, hit record, and go to town.
Yeah, don't spend tons of money.
No.
Buy some junk and
Buy
then,
some garbage. Yeah.
You just gotta make sure lighting's as okay as possible and
That's it.
the angles.
There's nothing to it.
I mean, that's about it.
That's about it.
And even that, I still feel like I suck, but I'm doing I'm trying my best.
We're low tech, man.
I'm learning all I can as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, just nerves of steel.
Nerves
I
of
tell
steel.
you.
Yeah.
Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen. He's in the UK. Hey.
Hello.
Hello, chap. That's probably not how they talk at all. I'm sorry.
Not even close.
Okay. He runs a tour company.
Oh, nice.
Now he's got a question. This is going to be important because it's going to save people's lives.
Oh.
Yeah, because he takes people on tours
right,
in
no
his
goofing off.
1929 Phaeton.
Oh, wow.
Which would be the bomb to do. That would be
Wow.
so fun to take a tour in one of those. Okay,
in
so
them.
recently a steep track has been paved near him, and is reputed. Is that right?
Okay, reputed is a word, yes.
Okay,
it
to
has a
be
reputation
the
of.
steepest paved public highway in the world at 130.
And he wants to take his Model A on it?
Yeah, that's what he's thinking. He says he wants to use it on my tours, but unsure if
Gosh.
the big ends will be starved of oil at that that gradient. Can you advise, please? I'm going to guess by his crazy laughter that it would be very dangerous. And you may have a big liability suits on your hands.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you might have people going, ah!
I mean, we've always said a Model A can go anywhere. Yes, it can.
Yeah.
However, there are limits to what is safe and what is not in today's litigious world.
Yes. And if you want to keep that business, it's very possible that you may have to avoid that
Drive
road.
by the bottom of it and just point it out. Yeah. There it is. We're not going on it, but there it is.
You're like, I'm here to keep you safe, so I'm not taking you there.
Yeah, I wouldn't
This is
do
how
that.
much I care about you.
I mean, if you want to do it all in first gear, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
but how fast would that get you?
Not very.
I wonder what the speed limit is.
Oh, everybody's going to be hating you. Yeah.
Oh.
And going down it and holding it in first gear to make sure it doesn't pop out, because I'd be scared to death of killing everybody.
Oh my.
No.
That's just scary sounding.
Don't do it.
I don't know tons about it, but just hearing it, I already knew it sounded very scary. Yeah,
in fact, he's pointing it out. It's the steepest drive anywhere in the country. Avoid that.
Yeah, especially with a 29. And
it's like, this is the most poisonous snake in the world. Watch me pet it.
Okay, on that note, hey, Don.
Hi, Don.
He says maybe you can help him with a question he has.
Or I can make fun of him.
Did any roadsters, 29 roadsters that is, not have an outside door handles? He has a guy that's selling one, whatever, goes on, and he says that, but it has no door handles.
I have seen one without door handles.
How would you get in the vehicle with
You just reach. They don't have windows or anything. You just reach in and pull
true. I always forget that about those vehicles.
Yeah, I saw one without door handles one time.
Oh, okay. I mean, I bet it looks kind of pretty, but...
No, it just looks kind of naked.
No, just naked.
It's like, you know how you date a girl and she has pierced ears, but she never wears earrings? You know they exist, that there should be earrings in the holes, but there isn't any? That's what that Roadster is.
Huh, okay. So, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
He got his first Model A few weeks ago.
Good for you. Yes. Yes.
And with the help of your videos, he's replaced all fluids, lubricated all grease points, and worked on the brakes. Yahoo!
Nice.
I am now trying to fix excessive play in the steering. I have been looking, but can't find a video from Paul about adjusting the steering.
Not yet.
Okay, well, hopefully it'll come in soon. That'd be cool.
Yes.
Sometimes your titles don't describe what they exactly do in the videos. Okay, that's true. Sometimes you do have stuff in there where it's not really explained in the title.
It'll be like a video on working on this car, and in that video is 3 or 4 cool things that happened. That
sometimes it's like where you got to go read the description to say, hey, what's in that video exactly? At least I think you detail your video descriptions in the description, do you? Or no?
I try to.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, I like the titles in your how-to series. He's from Ireland.
Oh, nice.
Way cool.
That's your peeps.
Well, sorry, dude. I'm sorry, Brian, we don't have that video yet, but hopefully it'll be coming out soon.
Okay, well, adjust the rear end, or the front rear end. The front end, first of all, before you go adjusting anything, make sure everything's tight. Let me grab this. This is a visual aid here.
Okay.
Okay, so this bag here contains the doodads that go in the front end. So there's these springs that push against the ball, which rides inside that socket there.
Get closer.
And it's the other side. Oh, am I not
Get
close
closer.
enough here? Get closer.
Get a little closer.
You can see right here, there's a spring that pushes against this, which has a cup. I don't want to open this bag because I'll lose the pieces. That cup right there, that cup is what the ball rides in. This piece right here has a cup in it that the ball rides in also, and there's an adjustment here. It looks like a big screwdriver adjusts it. These have to be adjusted down enough to compress that spring so that there's tightness inside the joints in the front end. Now this is in the drag link and in the tie rods, the ends of the tie rods. So these have to be correct, and sometimes these are worn out and you'll have to replace these, which is why I have this set here hanging on the wall along with other stuff. If a car comes in here with front end problems, the very first thing I do is replace this stuff, or at least check the stuff that's in it to make sure everything is not worn out and that it's really tight. Start there, then worry about going to the steering box. Let me hang this back on the wall so I don't lose it. There we go. Okay, there you go. So start there.
Okay, sounds good.
And then,
Oh.
and then,
And then?
most steering problems are caused by worn out kingpins. Yes, so check the kingpins. A way to do that is jack the Model A up off the floor just a little bit, suspended by the axle. Go to the front wheels and shake them this way.
Oh.
And see if there's any play in them at all. There should be almost zero. There shouldn't be any clunking or anything. So, so the
Such
top of the
rest.
tire and the bottom of the tire go like that with them off the ground. If they wiggle at all, kingpins, do those first, then worry about the other steering stuff, because the kingpins will probably get you where you want to go.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, Barry.
Hi, Barry.
He got a 1930 four-door Model A.
Ah, nice. Okay.
He got a carb rebuild kit, put it all back together, and gas is seeping out the side by the gasket. Had it turn over a couple times, it won't start. What's up with that?
Kind of sounds like the cap jet isn't seating into the bowl properly, or well, it's coming out the gasket. It means the bowl is too full, because the gas should never get up to the gasket level. So it could be float valve there too. It could be a couple things. Pull the carb off. Something is amiss. But clean out that float valve real good. And what I like to do is just take the bottom off the carb, blow into where the fuel line comes in. You can use another fuel line to do this if you want. Blow into there, and then just take the float as it's hanging from the carburetor, just push it up, and make sure that it completely shuts off that valve where you can't blow through there. If you hear any air at all seeping through there, or get a kid that has really good hearing to listen for you, and if there's any air at all seeping through there, then fix that. Which the float valves, almost 99.999% of the time, just need to be cleaned out. They don't need to be replaced.
That's good at least. So Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hey. He's recently decided to get back into Model A technology after 40 years
Technology?
in the automotive repair industry.
Oh, wow.
Yeehaw. He recently repurchased a 1929 two-door.
All right,
Nice.
nice.
Let's see. He's in the process of sorting it out, inspecting the brakes. I discovered a modification on the brake rollers and cam I've never seen. Have you seen this modification, and is it safe? I have the means and knowledge to revert it back to Henry's design, but this modification makes me curious. This eliminates the cam and rollers and uses full mechanical leverage. Did you have a chance to look at this picture yet?
What the hell is that?
That's pretty bad if it makes you say that. His answer, what the hell is that?
I don't know.
Wow.
That's a one-off. I don't know.
A one-off, uh-oh.
I don't know.
It looks like you need to go back to Henry's design like you were talking about.
I've never seen it. I mean,
to be
maybe
on
that
the
works
safe
better.
side?
I don't know. I've never seen that.
Yeah, so...
I mean, if it had a set of flathead Ted floaters or something, I'd go, oh, those are flathead Ted floaters. You know. But no, I'm sorry. I don't even know what that is. That's unusual. But I don't know. Play around with it.
Michelle, hello.
Hi, Michelle.
She is wondering if you could help her figure out what kind of car she has. She goes on the internet. She got all kinds of different answers. She says her father died about a month ago. I'm sorry to hear that. And my husband, I inherited it. And I know you were looking at it. And
That is a 1928 or 29 two-door sedan.
yeah, that's what it looks like to me. There's another picture of it from the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems like it
Yeah.
has a typical little shapeage
Yeah.
of that kind of year.
Yep.
Yeah, it's beauty. It looks like it's going to be fun.
Great family car. That's even cooler.
James.
Hi, James.
Hi, James. He's like you. He prefers to live in the past with Henry's Model A's. The question he has is, did you make a video on how to convert an alternator to 6 volts positive ground? Looked, but I didn't see one. Keep up the good work. Keep them on
because
the road.
it's still in production.
It's still in production?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have some footage, and I have to put pieces together, but there's some things that we didn't really explain really well that I should explain, so we're going to go back and record some more stuff, and then I'll put it together.
Okay, so it's coming to you nearby.
Coming soon. Surprisingly easy, by the way.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good at least. Always nice to have easy.
Well, the alternators and all these cars we built, we didn't buy them, we built them, so.
Nice.
Easy.
Easy peasy, I like it. All right, Brian.
Hi,
Hello,
Brian.
Brian. He has a few Model A questions. He has a 1929 Model A Phaeton that is still 6 volts. It has issues cranking when it is hot. If it sits for a couple hours after running, it will crank fine. But if you try to crank within a few minutes, it will not crank. Is there... Oh no, maybe I didn't get the rest of his question. Where did you go, Brian? So maybe he's just asking, is there a way to do it? Maybe it was just that simple at the end of it.
Could be time for a starter.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happened to
That's
this
what
thing.
I was thinking when I read his question.
Yeah, it could be time for a starter.
'Cause it sounds like this basically was having an issue with.
Now, it depends too. So a real fresh rebuild motor is still pretty tight and hard to turn over. When they're hot, they're even tighter. And we've run into that issue before. But after you get some time on the engine, it usually resolves itself. So it kind of depends. If he has a fresh motor and it's doing that, that's pretty normal. If that motor's got some miles on it, it's not real tight. If you can turn it over by hand pretty easy and it still does that, then it's time for a starter.
Okay, try the starter then, all right?
Starter rebuild, yes.
All righty, I'll try that, huh? All right, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey. He says, another video request. Need a good tutorial on how to service the radius ball. Not necessarily to the point of replacing the ball, although what would be nice, that would be nice, I mean, but moreover how to disassemble, inspect, and reassemble the OEM setup, including how to remove and replace the 2 bolts in the bell housing and installation of the felt pad.
Okay.
Those flies, I swear.
It's summertime. Flies are out. Okay.
Little thing else.
Oh.
He says, note, removal and reinstallation of the radius bolts with the engine tranny in the car.
No.
That's the fun part, he says.
No. You're either going to pull the engine or you're going to pull the rear end and the tranny. And then you got to pull the flywheel housing. So one of the two has to come out to change the bolts. Now, servicing the ball itself, assuming the ball isn't worn, then you go underneath, you put the wishbone assembly back in place. So.
Question.
What?
I'm going to guess you don't have a video on it yet.
No. Well, I did.
You did?
Actually, I did.
You did. But you do not now?
I do.
Okay. Then
sort of.
Do.
So if you go look at the video of Athena where I inspected the engine when Athena was up on the lift, Operation Hoopty, I took that apart and redid it and put it back together and showed how.
Well, then we could have, he's wanting a video.
But that doesn't show how to change the bolts in the felt because I didn't.
Okay. Then are you going to be doing anything like that soon?
I don't know.
You can make a video?
Maybe.
That's what he's looking for. He wants you to do a video.
I see.
Instead of doing a bunch of sign language on how do you do it.
I can show you how it goes together.
It was a very nice description, though.
I'll show you the catalog that has the whole thing apart, and you can see all the pieces and how they go together.
I think he's hoping for the whole enchilada of how-tos and blah,
You know,
blah, blah.
the weird thing is that would take 5 minutes, maybe.
Doesn't
to
matter.
Do. But you have to have the engine out to do it. It's the whole day to pull the engine first, then do a 5-minute video, and then a whole day to put the engine and everything all back in. So
hopefully eventually here we'll need to pull an engine. And then
hopefully we don't have to pull an engine. We'll do it on someone else's car.
Come here, give me your engine.
Ugh.
Okay, hopefully soon in the near future, you'll make a video on that. For now, I'll put up the Athena one that he's talking about.
Yeah.
You can kind of check that out, see what it looks like, see if it gives any kind of help to your questions.
It'll help.
What the hey? I'll put the link into the description. All right, Ty.
Hi, Ty.
Hi, Ty. Okay, he bought his first Model A last October.
Nice. Very nice.
He's loving the videos. Yay. He is trying to find one on going from 6 volt to 12 volt, pros, cons, costs, and most importantly, how long should it take to do for a mechanic to convert? But that is not something that you do.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I would rather go down a water slide covered with razor blades into a pool of alcohol than convert a Model A to 12 volts.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, don't. You don't need to.
What's the cons about doing that?
Lots of them.
Yeah. I mean, is there any pros? He's asking for pros and cons.
Oh,
is there any pros?
The reason
at all?
why people started doing it in the first place is either A, because they wanted brighter lights, which means nothing now because there's 6-volt halogens, 6-volt LEDs that are brighter than stock lights, all the other things. So that argument's gone. Then the argument of, well, it makes the engine crank faster. That also means it wears the starter and the ring gear and all these other things faster, so no. It bangs the starter super hard every time you hit the starter switch with 12 volt. Unless you convert the starter to 12 volt coils and fields and all that, in which case you get the exact same cranking as if you had a fresh starter on a 6-volt system. The other thing is people were running CB radios in Model A's and wanted to run them off the 12 volts, you know, because the CB radio is designed for 12 volt negative ground. My solution to that is run a walkie-talkie or have a battery in the car, like a little battery charger box thing, and run the CB off of that. So, no.
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 It's not something he does.
No,
Nope.
that's a modification for which I do not
Partake in.
Yes.
I knew you were going to use that word.
Yes.
So, John. Hey.
Hi, John.
He says, how do I order a lower plate for my distributor?
Oh, just call up any of the Berts, Brettons, Snyders, Mikes, Max, CW Moss, one of my new friends. Just call them up. Tell them you want a distributor lower plate.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Nice and simple. I like it.
Comes
Finally,
with the wire,
something simple.
ready to go. Yes.
Yay! Okay, hey, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
He says he's replacing the radiator on their 1930 four-door.
Okay.
On a budget, I purchased an eBay radiator, and I'm finding that the neck is different from the original and cannot fasten to the moto meter cap due to the new filler neck, and the radiator is smooth and does not have a lip for the brass shoulder to catch on when tightening and aligning the Allen screw. Any ideas on how to modify the neck or moto meter to fit the new radiator? Love the videos. He's hoping that he's not SOL. I think is one of the ones that said that. See, that's what it looks like.
Oh, your soul.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bummer.
Now, you saved a few pennies, and now you're going to cost yourself some more. Unfortunately.
No.
That looked like an aluminum radiator.
Can you send it back?
Yeah, send it back.
Maybe if you can send it back
I
to
mean,
the
'cause
company.
see, that's aluminum.
And,
That's aluminum and all. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it had a brass one, you can cut the brass one off, have a radiator shop braze a new... Because they make the radiator necks for the Model A radiators. You can buy them from all the auto parts, Model A part suppliers, and you could have that attached to yours, but that's aluminum, and the answer is no.
Bummer.
Sorry.
I was hoping it would be easier for him, but no.
No.
Unfortunately.
Sorry, that's a modified thing, so you're going to have to go with a modified something or another to use that.
No. All right, Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Cody. Let's see. I'm new to the interior aspect of Model A's and have run into a snag. I'm replacing the body wood on a 1930-31 two-door.
Okay.
A custom bought it in and asked me to help. Oh, a customer brought it in and asked him to help with it. He typically does metal and paint, but the guy is nice, and he said sure. So he got a body wood kit for it. I figured out where all the pieces go except for 2 of them. He asked the Model A groups. Some would suggest reaching out to you. There was not old wood to go off of for locations. These pieces are just labeled as above window tack strip. By the size, I assume above the quarter windows, but no matter how I put them or where I put them, it doesn't seem to make sense to me. Wondering if you could help. So I gave some little pictures of what that looks like. Darn fly.
I don't know.
What?
I haven't seen those.
No?
Well, the piece on the right kind of looks like the one that goes above the rear window at that angle. It looks like that one, but the one on that he's actually holding, I don't know what that is.
Now my hair's even thinking it's a fly.
I don't know.
Interesting.
They included an extra piece of wood.
Maybe it's meant for a different model?
Maybe it's for whacking the kids when they touch your car. I don't know.
Maybe. it's kind of souped up, but that really wouldn't matter for the body. Did they chop the top?
That's a 2-door sedan. That's not a 4-door.
Yeah, well, it's a 2-door. Did it say
Oh,
4-door? What?
yeah. I assumed 4-door. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Let me see again.
You're looking at the car?
I'm looking at the car. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 2-door
Now,
sedan.
let me see the wood here.
Okay.
Nope. No help.
Nope, doesn't help at all. Huh?
Nope.
Bummer.
Don't know.
Well, I'm sorry. Wish we could help on that one. I mean, does it really look like Eddie Wood is missing? You know, are all the spots
And the
filled
one he's
in
holding
and...
almost looks like a top bow, but it's not long enough. Because the 2-door has top bows in it.
And it's not chopped. It looks like it's been lowered, so I think that's what's making it look funny to me. It almost looks like it's short, you know? But maybe it's lower to the ground than normal? I don't know what's making it look so funny to me.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
No,
So I don't know. Sorry. I don't know where those two go. As long as nothing seems like it's missing, I suppose it's going to be okay.
I mean, if it holds together.
Yeah?
All the wood in a 2-door does is give you a place to tack all the interior onto, to attach the interior. It's not structural in a 2-door body except for the roof. So, unless that was part of the roof header or some weird thing for the rear. But usually if it's the one in the rear, it would have the thing for the, I mean, if it was a deluxe, it would have the thing for the dome light in the back. But that looked like a standard 2-door, so I don't know.
Okay. So Jason. Hey, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Jason, he has inherited a 1931 Model A with a type of rumble seat.
Okay.
He says him and his brother are both 6'4", and it's challenging to drive because of leg room. I've seen your YouTube channels and love the info. Have you ever seen anyone remove the seat back to increase leg room? Is there a way for that type?
Yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, does he have a roadster? Does he have a cabriolet? Does he have a standard coupe, deluxe coupe?
All those have rumble seats?
Well, those could all have rumble seats, yeah.
Okay.
I've even seen some business coupes converted to rumble seats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people like rumble seats for some reason. Okay. Anyway, riding in the back in the rumble seat, there's nothing you can do. You're just hosed. As far as driving the car, then you can move the seats. So the deluxe coupes and things, they have tracks that the seat kind of rides on, and there's a knob in the front, and you can adjust the seat back. You get about this much adjustment, which isn't a whole lot. What a lot of people do is they will take the package tray out of the back if it's a coupe, and then you can run the seat back even further, modify the mounts a little bit, and you can get yourself like another 4 inches or 5 inches, which makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, that would really,
it really does.
Be a game changer.
Or take padding out of the back cushion, which a lot of people do in pickups. You take padding out. It's amazing. You take 2 inches of padding out, and I mean, all of a sudden, it feels like the steering wheel's way far away.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I hope that helps.
Hope so.
Now we got Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Hey. Says, can you tell me on a 1932 door sedan if the windlass is one continuous run or 2 separate pieces per door?
Oh,
Thanks.
windlass.
Oh.
On a 1930?
1930, 2-door.
I guess it depends on whose interior kit you use. I think ours is all one piece. We had a LeBaron Bonnie kit. It was all one piece.
Okay. Did you get it from any particular place?
LeBaron Bonnie.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Nice.
the Cartouche ones, I think it depends. I've seen it both ways, though, so I don't know. It kind of depends on whose kit you have.
Oh, okay. I'll put the link to the
LeBaron Bonnie's out of business now.
They are?
Yeah, they closed
who
up
would you go to
just
now,
before
then?
COVID. I think Cartouche is the only game in town now.
Okay. Well, then I'll put the link to Cartouche then.
Yeah, or Max. I think they're the ones who sell it.
Oh, okay. All right, Charles. Hello.
Hi, Charles.
He says he's currently working on a 1931 Ford Model AAUSPS mail truck.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
Okay. Double A mail truck. Nice.
I was wondering what paint is on your mail truck. We are at the point to start painting parts as they go up and trying to decide on what type of paint. I know the paint codes, now trying to determine if an exterior deck paint for siding, paint, primary mix, etc.
We went to Jerry's Paint that sells automotive paints. and they sell like PPG and all that kind of stuff. So the paint we got for our mail truck, because we had to do a lot of touch-ups and repaint hinges and things like that to get it ready for show. We went down to Jerry's and they had the paint code. They mixed it up and it was almost perfect. I mean, it was so close you can't even tell. Wow. So it's just regular automotive paint, and I think it was Centauri. I think it was. Not 100% sure, but anyway, Jerry's paint, probably any automotive paint outfit. And it was so funny because I remember I went in there with Bob. We were getting some lacquer thinner and some other stuff. And Bob goes to the guy at the counter and says, "Hey," he says, "I need to get some paint for my 1929 mail truck." And the guy looks in a book and pulled it up. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
That's
they
cool.
had, yeah, and then they went and mixed it up, and it was like perfect. Aww. So without taking any of the truck in, they mixed it. And he looked at it before the guy put the lid on. You know, yep, that's it. That was it. And it was. So it was an official paint, like 1929 mail truck green or whatever it was.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was called U.S. Postal Green or something like that. But anyway, we just used automotive paint and it worked great. That's what's on the mail truck.
They're milling the wood. It's now drying for 6 months.
Oh.
And then they're going to milk our own lumber to
Mill.
It must be mean mill.
Mill.
It says milk, but they're doing it to true size lumber.
If you could milk lumber, you could solve the formula crisis.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So
How much fiber you want in your baby formula?
Oh my god.
Depends on which wood you milk.
All right. Hey, we actually made it to our last one. That was a lot of questions. So a little bit of a long video today.
A little bit?
But Randy.
Hi, Randy.
He is from Georgia.
The Peach State.
This is our last one.
Yay.
Yeah, Randy got a hold of me just in time. Yeah.
Okay.
Just before we were about to do the video, I saw I had another one, so I added you on. So he says his 1929 is completely dead. He has replaced the battery, but she still won't do anything. I have checked all the fuses I know to check, and they seem to be good. Can you help? Please.
Well, totally dead as in no lights, no horn, no nothing? Or dead as in it just won't start?
Well, it doesn't say that exactly. It just says my 29 is completely dead.
Completely dead. Okay, so I'm going to assume no lights, no horn, no nothing. So check your grounds. So the ground connection goes from the positive battery terminal through, if it's stock, a copper strap, or some people add the woven flexible strap. It goes from that to the chassis, the special little bolt that has the flat edges. So number one thing is make sure that the connection to the chassis is perfectly clean. So take that bolt out where it bolts to the chassis. Just take it out, clean everything up. Make sure you have shiny metal. No rust, no paint, no powder coat, nothing. Shiny, shiny, shiny metal. Put it all back together. Make sure you have good contact there. Sometimes you'll see Bob and I in the cars that we use a lot, the driver cars, we'll run an extra battery cable, looks like a normal battery cable, from the positive battery terminal, and we'll run it straight to the motor, either to one of the bolts around the flywheel housing or on the clamshell on the back of the transmission, or to the shift tower, one of those bolts or something. Just somewhere on the engine itself so the engine has a straight ground to the battery. Sometimes we do that. Just because it's kind of a pain to be out somewhere sometimes and all of a sudden and the car's dead and you got no connection, and then you check the fuse and the fuse is good, then you realize, oh, the ground, duh. And then you go shake the ground cable and everything wakes up again. So anyway, we just want to eliminate that. It's just a pain when you're in a hotel parking lot and everybody's saying, let's go, and then you have a ground problem. So that's why we do that on the driver cars. But anyway, that is my guess as to why your Model A is totally dead.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that answered some of your questions. And
see all the flies. Anybody know how to get rid of flies?
Yeah, I need one of those little gun things that shoot them.
Oh,
that
the
looks fun.
Salt, what are those? I forgot what they call those.
I don't know, but they look fun.
Yeah.
Death to all
Everything in my
flies.
shop would be covered with salt right now.
Oh my gosh. I know it's been a long one today, and if those of you who stuck it through the whole way, I appreciate you. And hopefully you got some good info in there. And if you have any questions, you can ask us on Facebook, Instagram,
Tina
Or
does the
YouTube
Facebook
question-
and the Instagram.
Yes, he doesn't know what the heck's
I
going
have
on there
no
unless
idea.
I show him.
I don't even have the password.
Yeah, so I share these things with him. I share him the comments and different things like that. Show him pictures when you show us. And I have a fun little video that I'm going to share over here at the end of this video. It's so fun. Made some new friends in Canada, and they are just him and his, I believe it's his friends or his brothers. I can't remember. I'd have to look back on our conversation, but they are wearing the I Am the Warren t-shirts now.
Yeah.
They're having a blast. All three of them have their own Model A's now.
I counted 4 cars in that.
Really? And they sent this fun little video, very short, but I had to share it because I'm in love with it. They're fun guys. I wish they were closer by. But I hope you enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your week and stay well. And God bless you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Hello, Paul and Tina. This is Rob, John, and Ken from Ontario, Canada. But do you see what you've done here? Look what you've started.